I think it'll work.
Of course.
It's a cinch. You know, it may be crazy, but we're gonna do it. The Dueling Cavalier is now a musical. Hot dog!
Hallelujah!
Fellas, I feel this is my lucky day, March 23rd.
Oh, no, your lucky day is the 24th.
What do you mean the 24th?
It's 1:30 already. It's morning.
Yes. And what a lovely morning. Good morning.
Good morning. We've talked the whole night through.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning. It's great to stay up late. Good morning. Good morning
To you.
When the band began to play, the stars were shining bright. Now the milkman's on his way. It's too late to say good night. So
Good morning.
good morning. We've talked the whole night through.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Morning. Good morning. We've gabbed the whole night through. Good morning. Good morning to
Nothing
you.
could be grander than to be in Louisiana
In the morning.
Good morning. We've talked the whole night through.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Hello, 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 hello. You're listening to EastLine Insomnia. It's just gone midnight. I'm Nicole Saban.
Hey everyone, I'm Dan Higgins.
Oh, so chill there, Dan. So chill.
Well, yeah, because it feels sort of normal because we're talking about the Tony Awards tonight.
Oh, wow. You're right. That is something from the before times.
Yes. Oh, those bygone years when things were normal. Good morning, Nicole.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you feeling tonight, Dan?
I am doped up on painkillers at the moment, actually. So this is going to be an interesting episode.
Oh, yeah, you got a toothache, don't you?
Yes, I do. I have root canal scheduled for Monday, and that's going to be fun.
Just to be clear, this isn't going to interfere with our Sunday plans, is it?
No, it's not going to interfere with our Sunday plans, which I'm super excited about.
What are we doing on Sunday, Dan?
We are going to a Yiddish class.
Dan and I are taking a virtual Yiddish class Sunday at 12 o'clock noon. If you would like to join us, it's through the Yiddishkeit Institute. Please come along.
We intend to kind of reach our true form, and eventually this whole show will be in Yiddish. So you better get started.
You too need to prep. You might want to take a class yourself. Otherwise, one day you are not going to be able to listen to Islam Insomnia.
Because the whole thing will be in Yiddish.
Right. Oy.
Well, we got a great topic tonight. We're discussing the Tony Awards. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be a mess. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, we've got some really wild nominations this year. We have some other news before we get to that. But if you want to comment down below, tell us about the Tony Awards moment that you are still mad about after all these years. I know which one mine is. It has to do with Oslo. Comment down below what you're still frustrated about after all this time.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's time for the news.
Newsflash, the artistic director of the Huntington Theater Company in Boston has resigned, the company said on Wednesday, after months of upheaval over the workplace environment and an airing of grievances about the conduct of senior leaders. The director, Peter Dubois, led the company for 12 years before his departure, according to a statement from the president and chairman of the company's board of trustees. The statement did not offer a clear reason for the explanation, but said it had come at a time when challenges of the pandemic had, quote, illuminated concerns about the theater's workplace environment and issues of structural imbalance, end quote. A spokeswoman for the theater said that Dubois' resignation followed a board investigation that began after a complaint that was received last month. She declined to elaborate on the nature of the complaint, but said that 20 staff members had been interviewed and had spoken about a variety of issues surrounding workplace culture. The Boston Globe reported that a group of employees had sent an email to board directors last month expressing concerns about, quote, retaliation from superiors and an overall lack of accountability in leadership, end quote. In a statement by email, Dubois said, quote, during a time when the theater is not producing and during a time of truly hopeful cultural transformation, I am no longer the right person for the job, end quote. Yeah, that's Not great, Bob. That's not great, Bob. And it sucks because the Huntington Theater Company is a great theater company, and if you ever have a chance to Boston, you should see their work because they do wonderful productions. But this is not great. I do not like this, and I'm glad that they are taking the correct actions to deal with the problem.
In other news, lyricist and journalist Herbert Kretzmer, best known for his English language adaptation of the musical Les Miserables, has died at the age of 95. In his day job as a journalist, Kretzmer became senior drama critic at the Daily Express and later wrote television criticism for the Daily Mail. But he stressed in a 2013 interview with The Guardian that it was his role in coming up with the English lyrics for Les Mis that would go on to define his career and life. I returned to the Mail, but then it became clear that the show had a fairly certain future. I was able to give up my day job at 61, he said. Les Miserables has brought me my London house and my wife, whom I met at the opening night party in New York. I often marvel at how those few feet between Cameron Mackintosh's sofa and his door changed my life. About Les Mis, he said, the word translation makes me shiver. Words can resonate in one culture but not another. So I read the novel and then told the story in my own way. Castle on a Cloud had the line, there is a prince on the road in the French version, but it seemed to me a young orphan would be dreaming of a mother figure rather than a lover. Cameron had commissioned Claude Michel Schoenberg to extend the musical by a third, so there were also long episodes to fill. There was only one song that I wrote first, in which Schoenberg then set to music, Stars, in which Javert swears revenge on Valjean. In a joint statement, the musical's original French songwriters, Alain Boublil and Claude Michel Schoenberg, described their counterpart as a vibrant, hardworking man, but above all, a man with an exceptional moral force as well as a brilliant lyricist. They wrote, thanks to him, Les Mis found its English voice. Herbie embraced our original vision and turned it into a work that speaks to the rest of the world. Kretzmer also wrote the 1960s West End show Our Man Crichton and The Four Musketeers.
Oh, it's a damn shame. What a giant. We lost too many giants this year. It's really sad. Anyway, we have some really some lighthearted news. We have some cool events coming up, don't we?
We do. One of my faves personally, the Olivier Award-nominated production of Amelia by Morgan Lloyd Malcolm will be premiered online as a watch-along event with the playwright joined by members of the cast and creative team at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday, the 10th of November, 2020. The film production will then be available for 2 weeks from November 10th through 24th. Amelia was filmed at the Vaudeville Theatre in May 2019, originally for archival purposes rather than for public viewing. Tickets are pay what you can, starting at about $1.50. Amelia originally ran for 11 performances at Shakespeare's Globe, and it recounts the story of 17th century poet Amelia Bassano, who was among the first women to publish in English under her own name. And she is one of the chief candidates to be the Dark Lady of Shakespeare's sonnets. More information is available at amelialive.com. We read this play in book club last November, and it was a real big hit. So you will catch me there, and we're probably going to be leading a book club discussion of the filmed version at some point.
You did it, Nicole. You willed it into existence.
I did. I tweeted at them multiple times, release the recording. I know you have. And guess what? They had a recording.
I am so excited to watch it. But also what I'm excited for, in different theater news, Alvin Alley, the American Dance Theater, is the largest company to move ahead with the creation of new work while performing art venues remain closed. To celebrate its 60th anniversary of Revelations, the company's signature work, the troupe is presenting a special digital presentation for opening night on December 2nd, which will include commentary and analysis by Alley experts and former dancers. The troupe's month-long December season will include a world premiere of Jamar Roberts, Alley's choreographer in residence, and the debut of a collaborative response to Alley's Revelations by Matthew Rushling, Clifton Brown, and Yusha Marie Sorzo. Additional programming will be available later in the fall. For more information, visit alvinalley.org.
And then in somewhat local event news, the 1999 Tony-winning revival of Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman, starring local legend and two-time Tony winner Brian Dennehy. Leave your Brian Dennehy anecdotes in the comments. Under the direction of Robert Falls, will stream on Playbill.com beginning October 21st at 8 p.m. Presented by Showtime, the Actors Fund, and the Goodman Theater. The presentation will be available through October 25th. Donations to the Actors Fund are encouraged to support COVID-19 relief efforts. Cast also features Tony winner Elizabeth Franz as Linda, Ted Koch as Happy, and Ron Eldard as Biff. So tune in if you want to see an American classic starring local legend Brian Dennehy.
A Tony-winning revival of Death of a Salesman, which is my segue into our more elaborate discussion in our open debate.
Still, this Congress refuses to grant any of my proposals on independence, even so much as the courtesy of open debate. Good God, what in hell are you waiting for? Thomas, for God's sake, listen to me. I had enough of you, sir. Now listen. Will you listen to me and forget the window?
So here it is. It is October 2020, and we are talking about the 2020 Tony Awards. It is pretty odd, to be honest with you.
That's putting it mildly.
What do you think, Dan? Is it appropriate that we are still doing the Tony Awards despite what is going on in the world? What are your general thoughts on the Tonys? Are you usually a Tonys fan?
Well, this is going to get me into usual Danny Higgins hot water, but but I am biased because I have already deep opinions about the Tonys going into this award season. Like generally, I don't agree with the idea of competition theater. I think all art as a competition is ridiculous. I think that trying to be the best at something is like art, like theater is literally impossible. We can only be the best versions of ourselves, not better than anyone else. So I don't know if I necessarily agree with the essence of award season. But I mean, when it comes to the context of what we're going through now, I mean, it's nice to have some semblance of a normal thing in theater. But, I think they're going to have a really hard line to walk between, is it in good taste? The Emmys, I don't know if they did a great job at this with the whole hazmat suit thing. Maybe comedy is what we need right now, but I don't know. I think it is going to be interesting to watch. And my opinions are confusing, to say the least. That's my feelings.
I mean, I'm with you on the is art a contest thing, but I do think that there has always been some value in the Tony Awards because of it being almost the only mainstream primetime television showcase for theater in this country. Now, the Tony Awards are, of course, really a local real estate award. They are. What is the best play that played in 41 specific theaters in 20 blocks of New York City? It's like, what's the best snack in Nicole's closet? Like, that's how specific it is. But I do think there is value in it. I think there's certainly archival value. Like, I don't want to think about what kind of person I would be if I could not watch B. Arthur and Angela Lansbury do bosom buddies at the Tony Awards. By the way, happy 95th, Angela. I don't want to think about who I would be without that. So I think there is a certain artistic value to reaching places where theater may not reach.
Yeah, I would agree to that. I think that's fair to say. Yes, it is Broadway's biggest night. It is theater's biggest night as far as outreach is concerned. And yes, there are the kids and the people in the middle of the country or, further away in other countries who don't get an opportunity to come to New York that often and see the breadth of work they would get to see on the Tony Awards ceremony. My problem is, again, is it still the best foot we want to put forward? Do we want to be telling these kids, these future theater artists, that you want the goal is to be the best at something? I again, yes, I'm all for celebrating theater. I just don't think the proper way to do that is by making it a competition. So,
and I mean, certainly this year, who knows? I mean, is it going to be just a Zoom gathering? Is it? I doubt it's going to be I doubt it's going to be televised. We'll probably watch it on BroadwayWorld.com. Which Melanie wants us to discuss the BroadwayWorld.com awards. I'm sure we've got some opinions. I'm sure we've got some opinions about that.
I mean, look, if I'm going to be involved in a popularity contest, I want it to be at least one that I don't know anyone involved.
So yeah, I'm not sure what the value will be this year, but getting to this year, the nominees this year were obviously an odd bunch. The most number of nominations went to Jagged Little Pill. They got 15. Moulin Rouge got 14. And then Slave Play became the most nominated play ever by getting 12. So what are we going to do, Dan? We're gonna go through some of the more interesting categories. And I think we're going to put our predictions down on paper, aren't we, Dan?
Well, I mean, the virtual paper as it was. Yes.
In a way that you can come back and make fun of us when we're inevitably wrong.
Yes.
And I thought, and also in addition to doing our predictions, Dan, I thought we could, when Ben Brantley does his predictions in the New York Times, he always puts what he thinks will win and also he picks an absolutely non sequitur nominee.
Yeah.
He picks like what should be nominated in this category. So
Yes.
he'll pick somebody who appeared at a play in Westchester 13 years ago. He'll pick absolutely somebody that's not eligible at all. So I think we'll probably stick to mostly off Broadway.
Best actor in a play should go to Thesbis and Oedipus Rex.
So I guess we'll also put our Ben Brantley non sequitur answers in there as well.
All right.
Yeah?
Let us know what you guys think. If you agree with us, if you have your non sequiturs, send them to the comments so we can chat with you guys. But we're going to go to our first category here, which is best performance by an actress in a leading role in a musical. Now, not a really, not too many in this one, but we do have Karen Olivo in Moulin Rouge, Elizabeth Stanley in Jagged Little Pill, which is her first time nomination, by the way, and Adrienne Warren in Tina, the Tina Turner musical. So, Nicole, what is your prediction here?
If they were giving Tony Awards for that Stephen Sondheim musical tribute for his birthday they did a few months back, let me tell you, it would absolutely be Elizabeth Stanley's award.
Yes.
She killed it with The Miller's Son, but I think that this award is Adrienne Warren's to lose.
I am 100% agree. I think it's her year.
She's got nothing but good reviews out of it. She's given stunning performances for like the last 5 years now.
Yeah.
I think this is her time.
Yeah, I mean, if you even look at some of those videos, I mean, I think she did the parade, right? Thanksgiving Day parade. I mean, she looks like Tina, she dances like Tina, she sings like Tina. I mean, it really is a stunning performance, I think, and I think it is her year. I wish she was winning this award in a true, honest to God year, because I think she deserves that as well. But I do think it is her year. I think it's her time, and I think it is the best performance of the bunch. So yeah, 100%, it's going to go to her. What about some Ben Brantleys? You got any?
I do. You know what I'm thinking about? I'm thinking about Grace McLean performed in her own original work called In the Green at LCT3 Lincoln Center. And the concept of the musical was that she played a 13th century mystical woman, Hildegard von Bingen. But all of the music in the show, sorry, I'm going real deep now. All of the music in the show was created using I don't know what the correct word for it is, like a repeater. So she would sing a little bit or like make some kind of noise, and then she would record herself and it would repeat and repeat and repeat. And then she would sing over it. But anyway, it was just one of those wild performances, and she was nonstop through the whole duration of the show. So Grace McLean, you may know her from The Great Comet.
I love her so much. She is the best actress in a lead role in a musical. She was the Great Comet. She's fantastic.
Next up, we have best performance by an actor in a leading role in a musical. Now, this is an odd little category. You may have already heard of this. This is probably the category that made the most news, and it's because there is only one nominee. Aaron Tveit is nominated for his performance as Christian in Moulin Rouge.
Poor Aaron.
Admittedly, this is not unprecedented. There have been times like Sunset Boulevard won Best Book and Best Original Score without having anything competing against it. But I do think this is sort of an unusual and kind of a terrible way to win your first Best Leading Actor, Tony.
Yeah. Is he going to win it?
especially for somebody beloved like Aaron Tveit. Okay, so in order to win, you have to still have to get 60% of the vote. Do you think he's going to win it, Dan?
I think it is so unfair for them to put Aaron in this position, mainly because, I mean, I get it. You know, there wasn't anyone else that they could have possibly given it to, but I'm sure there is, and you'll get to that in a minute. But I just want to say that I really do feel that Aaron deserves a true shot at this award, not a sort of effort award, which is what this seems to sound like. Yeah. And if there is a possibility that he can lose, I mean, while albeit probably small, if it did happen, I mean, the embarrassment that you're doing to this poor man who is working hard, who wants to make a career for himself, who wants to probably win this, it's probably been his like childhood dream. So like, I don't know. I think it puts him in a terrible position. I mean, they've omitted other categories because they didn't have any people running for it. I think they could have considered it for this one. I hope he wins. I really do. Because I don't want to see him go through that.
It will be extremely awkward if he loses, obviously. But even more awkward, there was someone else eligible for this category. Chris McCarroll was eligible in this category for the title role in The Lightning Thief. I do think it's a little unfortunate. I did not see The Lightning Thief. I don't really have any interest in The Lightning Thief, but I think that the Tony Awards have sort of consistently snubbed shows aimed at young people, and I think this is sort of like another nail in the coffin. And if I was like a 15-year-old kid who was just getting into Broadway and they had just stubbed my favorite show this way, I'd be a little bit put off. I mean, that's not a reason to nominate people, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Yeah. Lightning Thief is like the dollar store version of Harry Potter. So
I think he's going to win. Do you think he's going to win?
I hope he does. That my answer is I hope. It's nerve wracking. I just like I don't want to see anyone have to go through that. No one should have to go through that disappointment. I feel.
Yeah.
But moving along, we have a more stacked category here, which is best performance by an actress in a leading role in a play. Now this is one hell of a category. All right, we got Shakina Kaluango for Slave Play. We got Laura Linney for My Name is Lucy Barton. We have Audra McDonald for Frankie and Johnny and the Claire de Lune. By the way, fun tidbit. This is Audra's 9th nomination, and when she inevitably gets her 10th, she will tie Julie Harris and Chita Rivera for the most nominations of a performer, which is wild. And then we also have rounding out the list Mary Louise Parker for The Sound Inside. So that's stacked there, Nicole. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that if How I Learned to Drive had finally made its way to Broadway this season, Mary Louise Parker could have taken it for that. I don't think Audra's getting another one at this point. She will eventually, but not this one. But I think this is Jakina Kalukango's turn for Slave Play. I think I think this is the beginning of our little sweep for Slave Play, but I'm thinking Slave Play is gonna clean up on the night when the night inevitably comes. What are you thinking?
I agree with you 100%. I think this is Slave Play's year. I think it was Slave Play's year going in before the pandemic. I think Jakina deserves this award. I mean, the effortlessness that she brought to this part. I mean, if you had the opportunity to see it, I saw it. I had the pleasure of seeing her do it twice, and she is masterful in her execution of this. It's a very part.
It's an award-worthy role, definitely.
Yeah, and I do think the other women in this category have had their time already to shine in this category. And while maybe we need to give a little more love to Mary Louise Parker eventually, I do think it would be nice to see a younger person take this award home, especially for the part that she played in Slave Play. So I agree with you, Jakina, all the way. That's my answer.
Fair.
What about some Ben Brantley's?
This category is just always.
Yeah. It's my favorite category.
Kind of, yeah. I'm thinking about. I didn't love Medea at the Brooklyn Academy of Music, but I thought Rose Byrne turned in a performance for the ages.
Absolutely, she acts circles around her husband. Circles.
She did. The intensity she brought to the role, I really believed her. And then somebody who was actually nominated Best Featured Actress for some reason, Jane Alexander for Grand Horizons. Jane Alexander was hilarious in Grand Horizons and is also clearly the lead in that show. I know that placement depends on how producers submit to the committee, but Jane Alexander is clearly the lead in Grand Horizons, and she would be in competition here. Who are you thinking about?
I have one person in mind, and that is Emily Davis in Is This a Room, which was off Broadway at the Vineyard, which she was spectacular. I mean, she had to be on, had to have this energy, and she had to be completely focused on it for the entire duration of the piece. And I thought she brought it. I thought she did excellent work. And I think if I had my choice, if I had my choices, I would have thrown her in here, I guess.
Damn.
I think she was great.
Is this a room?
Is this
this the room? Yeah, I thought she was excellent. I thought I was distressed by her distress.
Yes, 100%. She made me uncomfortable. She really did. So.
Next up, we've got Best Performance by an Actor in a Leading Role in a Play. Now, I actually haven't seen any of these because it's a man category dominated by men in man plays. But the nominees are Ian Barfoot in Linda Vista, Andrew Burnap in The Inheritance, Jake Gyllenhaal in Seawall: A Life, Tom Hiddleston in Betrayal, Tom Sturridge in Seawall: A Life, and Blair Underwood in A Soldier's Play. What are you thinking, Dan? I think you saw a lot of these, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I did see a good number of these. My gut is telling me, my brain is telling me Tom Hiddleston for Betrayal because the Tonys are Anglophiles and they just love anything English. It portrays an English production by an English director with an English writer with an English cast. So you can't get any more, Anglophile than that production. So my brain tells me it's going to be Tom Hiddleston, but my heart, my soul wants it to be Tom Sturridge for A Seawall of Life. He was so freaking good. I mean, I had the pleasure of seeing him. He did a Seawall, which was the first monologue. That's the performance, by the way, Nicole, that 8 cell phones went off during the course of his monologue. 8 cell phone rings. And guess what? He did not skip a beat. He just was excellent from beginning to end. And I really hope it's his year. I hope he takes it home. But, my brain tells me the Tonys are going to give it to Tom because he's English. I mean, I know Tom Sturridge is also English.
Other Tom.
Hiddleston. The Hiddleston. We'll get it.
My gut says Sturridge, actually, because I think that the Tonys will acknowledge the difficulty of a monologue performance here.
Yeah.
But
well,
go ahead.
No, I agree with you that the monologue is difficult, which is why I'm worried that they're going to give it to Jake. Because he is clearly the pretty boy in this, other than Tom Hiddleston. He's the more known pretty boy, I guess.
I too worry about Jake Gyllenhaal.
I worry if you're out there, Jake. We're worried about you. No, but I think Jake wants to be a stage performer so badly. He wants to be good at theater so bad, and that's not to say that he's not good at theater, but I still think he's got a lot of work to do as far as the medium is concerned. And while he's really good on screen, he really is still in the process of developing his stage essence. And I hope they don't throw him to Tony here, because I want him to keep working and I want him to keep doing things. So I really hope that they don't give it to Jake. I know that's awful to say, but I'm really hoping they don't give it to Jake. What about some Brantleys? Got any?
I'll actually throw you a bone, Dan.
Oh no, don't do that.
If I had my druthers, I might nominate Simon Russell Beale for the Lehman trilogy here.
Here we go. That's happening. It's happening.
Simon Russell Beale was, for me, the standout performance in that show. Adam Godley was good as well, but Simon Russell Beale was so funny and so tender, and Simon Russell Beale is excellent at playing women, and he should consider doing it more.
Yes, I would agree.
I really enjoyed his performance on that show.
So now we're getting to a very interesting category here, which is Best Original Score, Music and/or Lyrics written for the theater. Now, this is the first time in the ceremony's history that no musical has been nominated for Best Original Score. Jesus. So we have the nominees here. Listen to this name, okay? Just listen to this. A Christmas Carol, okay? Score by Christopher Nightingale, okay? The Inheritance by Paul English B. The Rose Tattoo by Fitz Patton. Where do they find these people? And Jason Michael Webb. Slave Play by Lindsay Jones. And The Sound Inside by Daniel Kluger. So some very interesting names there that are quite apropos to the shows they're associated with. What are you thinking, Nicole? This is this is interesting. It's unprecedented. What are your thoughts?
I'm not necessarily opposed to play scores. I think it's a little sad that we didn't have a nice, fresh new musical score to have nominated here. Well, actually, we did The Lightning Thief, but again, snubbed across the board. My gut is saying it's going to be a Slave Play sweep, and even the more minor categories like this one. Well, it's become a minor category because they're all plays, I guess.
Yeah.
So my gut is saying Slave Play.
I would say Slave Play as well. My feeling is that the score was kind of more integral to the play itself. So I think Slave Play is the only one whose score heightens the emotions of the piece. So I'm going with Slave Play as well. I think it is Slave Play's night, 100%. Brantleys? Any Brantleys, Nicole?
Oh yes, you know what? Cambodian Rock Band at Signature Theater by Lauren Yee had a beautiful, fun score of 1950s style Cambodian surf rock by a band called Dengue Fever. And none of it was in English, but I was living. It was like the Beach Boys, sort of. I was all about it. What a great play with music that was. Cambodian Rock Band. I recommend.
I wish I was invited to see it.
Oh, okay.
Now it's on record.
Get your own tickets to things, Dan. Anyway, next up we have a packed category again. Best Direction of a Play. All men this year. But the nominees are David Cromer for The Sound Inside, Stephen Daldry for The Inheritance, Kenny Leon for A Soldier's Play, Jamie Lloyd for Betrayal, and Robert O'Hara for Slave Play. What are you thinking, Dan?
I think it's Robert O'Hara's year. I think Slave Play has undoubtedly etched itself into the American canon, and I think that has to do with a lot of things. It has to do with the performances, with the production itself, with the writing for sure. But I think a lot of it is on Robert O'Hara having grasped it and taken it as far as it can. I think his hands are all over it. I think he is by far the strongest of this stacked category. I would also say that even if this was a full season, I still think it's his year, no matter what else would have came. I think the work he did is truly excellent, and I think it is Robert O'Hara's year. What about you?
I'm eliminating Stephen Daldry for The Inheritance because I just think that The Inheritance was surprisingly not received well here.
Yes.
So I
they tried. They tried.
I mean, like, if you had asked me 2 years ago, I would have been like, of this list, The Inheritance sounds like a Tony winner. Yeah. But I don't think it's going to be that. I'm leaning towards Robert O'Hara for Slave Play. Yeah. I'm leaning towards.
I think the only one who could give him run for his money is Jamie Lloyd. I think in Betrayal, mainly because. Again, English equals Tony wins equals American Theater Wing Award. And I think Jamie Lloyd, who by the way directed the production of Cyrano we watched in Movie Club last week. Yes, he did. And if you've ever seen a picture of him, Nicole, you would understand completely why he directs shows the way he does. I think he's the only one who can give Robert O'Hara for his money.
I'm picturing like a basic white guy. Is that not who he is?
No.
Let me Google. Hold on.
No, Google him. He's literally covered in tattoos. He's like a solid 7. He's a solid 7.
Okay. Cute. I got the picture. Hold on.
He's got a snake on his head. Look at him.
Oh my God! That's a look. That's a strong look.
Yeah.
I was expecting a very basic British guy. This is not what I expected. I understand his Cyrano better now.
Yeah, I would say that Betrayal was better than Cyrano. I think can you stop? Don't take advantage of him. I think he might give a run for his money. I'm going to throw Brantley in here, actually.
Go ahead.
Which is it's frustrating me that this category is stacked with men, as it should frustrate everyone. But I think the snub this year from this category is Carrie Cracknell, who directed A Seawall of Life. She did an excellent job at putting those two monologues together and really creating this cohesive environment where both pieces would make sense and working with these actors through these very dense, powerful monologues. I mean, to think of the feat required, you would think that deserves a nomination. I genuinely think here, like The Sound Inside or The Inheritance. I mean, I guess I can understand The Inheritance, but The Sound Inside, knocking Carrie Cracknell out of that just seems really, really rude to me, especially if you have an abbreviated season. You couldn't have really considered Carrie in this. I don't know. I think that's the snub that really bothers me the most this year. I think she deserved a nomination. And that's my 2 cents. That's
fair.
But we're going to move on to another direction category here, which is really interesting, I would say, which is the fact that we have 2 women nominated in it. It's Best Direction of a Musical. Right now, as if more is going to be added. As the running stands, Philda Lloyd for Tina, the Tina Turner Musical, Diane Paulus for Jagged Little Pill, and Alex Timbers for Moulin Rouge. So, Nicole, what's your bet? Where are you betting?
Okay, well, I'm eliminating Alex Timbers because I think that he is extremely personally unpopular and therefore voters will not vote for him. People really don't like him. I'm sorry, Alex. I think you're a pretty good director.
No one really likes him.
Between Philida and Diana, of course, all 3 of these are jukebox musicals, so it's difficult to assess.
Yeah.
I think next year could be Diane's year when she brings her 1776 all-female revival. Yeah. So I guess I'm going to go Philida Lloyd. Philida Lloyd she's the director of Mamma Mia? So she's like one of the probably highest grossing female directors of all time, both on stage and on screen for the music, for the film and the show. So I don't know, maybe good commercial success, I guess, might win her this award.
She really loves her jukebox musicals, I guess. I'm gonna put my money on Diane on this one. Actually, I think the Tony Awards has no problem giving people awards twice. Maybe a woman they would, but I think it'd be nice to see a woman win twice 2 years in a row. I think Jagged Little Pill is getting a lot of buzz in the Broadway community. I think the Broadway community really likes it. I think it's Jagged Little Pill's year when it comes to the musical category, mainly because none of the original musicals made it into this category, so it does benefit from that. I do not think it would have been Jagged Little Pill's year had a full season come into play, but I do think it's Diane's year. I think she's going to pull it out.
Sure.
The only thing I'll say about Alex, and I really hope he doesn't get it, mainly because you stacked the directors category with all men. Why? Why? Just why? And Alex, God bless him, I guess, but God doesn't exist.
What's your out of left field? Do you have an out of left field pick in this category, then?
Yeah, I do have an out of left field pick on this one. I did have the opportunity to see Moby Dick up in Boston in tryouts in Boston in January, and while the show itself was a mess and the thing is nowhere near done, it was a workshop production. It was some of the most ballsy concepts of a musical I've ever seen since probably I've watched Sunday in the Park with George. I think it is going to be a very intriguing piece to see when it comes to Broadway, and that is at the hands of Rachel Chafkin, who did Hadestown and Great Comet. So I do think she would be my sort of non sequitur I throw into here.
Sure.
I don't think that means she would win the category if she was in it. I just think that they had some ballsy stuff going on with that production, and I'm curious to see where it ends. Yeah, I would say so for sure.
Before we get to the main four categories, should we talk some of these fun comments?
Yeah, let's see what people have to say.
Back when we were asking for Tony snubs, Brian said Ethan Slater was robbed, and I will throw hands over it.
You know what? I honestly, Ethan was so good in SpongeBob. You want to talk about energy? He had to be at 3,100 like the whole time, and the athleticism of the part, and I mean, triple threat to the nth degree. I agree 100%. Absolutely, Ethan Slater was robbed.
John Geffner says, my mom knew Brian Dennehy through the Arena
Players. Really? That's so interesting, John. Hello, John. Welcome back.
Hi, John. Hello, everyone.
Our regular guest star, John Geffner.
Then there's plenty of musicals, Kyle says, that have lived better lives than the winners of the Best Musical. Look at Wicked compared to Avenue Q. Fair.
Well, Kyle's not going to like me for saying this, but Wicked should have won. Sorry. Wicked should have won that year. Avenue Q is great for what it is. It's fantastic. The puppetry is great. The show is funny, but it's dated. It's only relevant to the time in which it's done. I also think it hasn't aged well in most of its humor. I think Wicked has an excellent book. Wicked's book is so good. The music is great. Some of, I think, Schwartz's best material. I think Wicked should have won that year. That is 100% a snub, in my opinion.
John says, without the Tonys, what else would be the gay Super Bowl? Comment your suggestions down below. RuPaul's
gay
Drag Race?
Super Bowl? RuPaul? I was going to say that too. RuPaul's Drag Race.
RuPaul's Drag Race, maybe?
I mean, gay Super Bowl is like every Sunday for me. So,
Comment your suggestions on what would be the gay
Book
Super Bowl.
Club is our gay Super Bowl.
Look, Tommy has joined us. Tommy says,
hey, Tommy.
Theater owners and producers rely on the ability to promote Tony Award-winning plays and musicals to their local audiences. Authors and creators rely on regional, touring, community theater, college, and high school productions.
Yes,
I would agree.
100%, Tommy. So, what's our next category, Nicole?
Our next category is sort of a dry one, Best Revival of a Play. We have 3 nominees this year. Betrayal by Harold Pinter, Frankie and Johnny and the Clair de Lune by Terrence McNally, and A Soldier's Play by Charles Fuller. What are you in for, Dan?
Well, again, back to what I said before, English plus English plus English plus English equals Tony. So my immediate reaction is that had we not lost Terrence McNally, this would have been Betrayal's year. I do think Terrence McNally is going to give Frankie and Johnny a leg up in this category, but and that's not to say that's a bad thing, but that the production of Frankie and Johnny, personally, I did not care for it. I did not think it was anything to really, rave about. It was your standard, straightforward production of Frankie and Johnny. Betrayal actually did some interesting things with its staging and its presentation. So my gut, I think Betrayal actually deserves it, I guess is what I'm saying. But my gut is feeling that it's going to be Frankie and Johnny this year. So.
Fair. Little term as a Terrence McNally tribute. I think I'm gonna go with Betrayal. I think they're gonna. I don't know. I think they'll do a nice long Terrence McNally tribute, but and it's deserved. Yeah, my gut says Betrayal, though.
I would agree with you. Though I will say this, A Soldier's Play, when it was running, did get some favorable reviews. So maybe if there had been more longer time for it to sort of seep into the consciousness of theater, the two, Betrayal and Johnny, Frankie and Johnny did have a full run. Both of them did fully run. Soldier's Play was cut short. So I think that might be kind of hindering this right now. So
Looks like Matt has some feelings about it. Frankie and Johnny was a 2-act play that was 1 act too long.
I would agree. I would agree with that.
Tony voters speak to Matt Rosenberg.
It's a good play. It's a good play. I don't know if it's Terrence McNally's best play, but it is a good play. So we're moving along now to a very for a category that is not present this year, which is Best Revival of a Musical. Now, this is the first time since the category's creation in '94 that Best Revival of a Musical will not be presented. There are no eligible productions. So I guess we could go full non sequitur on this one. Nicole, who do you think's going to win Best Revival had they picked things?
Man, I'm going to go to bat for Mac and Mabel. Maybe I just had a really nice day in the city that day back in February. But man, I don't know if I anticipated any theater event this year like I anticipated that Mac and Mabel. The minute that orchestra started in on movies, we're movies, I lost my mind, you guys. That score is one of the great musical theater scores. Alexandra Socha, excellent as Mabel. The book is still a fucking mess.
The book is so problematic.
The book is such a mess. I believe somebody could fix Mac and Mabel. I would like somebody to fix Mac and Mabel. But I would see this nominated in that category.
If it had made it.
Yeah, I mean, if it had been nominated alone, I wouldn't have given it 60% of my vote, I guess. But I so enjoyed seeing it. I love encores, man.
Yeah, I love encores too. I don't know if I have anything that kind of fits into this category. I thought Mac and Mabel was good, but again, the book is problematic for me. So unless there was book readjustments, I don't know if it would have made it. I also think the reason you go to encores is for the Encores Orchestra. I do think the orchestra being where it is did hinder the production to be able to do what it wanted to do. It almost felt like the orchestra was in the way of the production.
Yes,
so that would be my feelings. I mean, I'm going to say that my non sequitur is the Revival of Oklahoma that closed this last season.
You can't. It already won, Dan.
I don't care. It deserves to win twice.
Next up, what is usually the big kahuna category, but is this year a little bit of a disappointment because for the first time in Tony Awards history, all of the nominees for Best Musical are jukebox musicals. They are Jagged Little Pill, Moulin Rouge the Musical, and Tina, the Tina Turner Musical. Yeah. What are you in for, Dan? What do you think's going to win? What do you think's taking it?
Danny Higgins is going to abstain courteously.
You absolutely not allowed. Not allowed.
It is allowed, and I'm taking it. I have no feelings whatsoever about this. I mean, I think Jagged Little Pill is going to win. I think when it comes to musicals, Jagged Little Pill is the only one that has some sort of in here. I take issue with jukebox musicals to some extent. But I really do have. They snubbed Lightning Thief, which probably could have had a good play here had it been put in here. Had we had a full season, we would have had a lot more options here. So Jagged Little Pill is going to win under the confinements of what we're dealing with. But I don't know if I'm going to like it necessarily.
I would tend to agree. But if you had your druthers, Dan, what would be on the list?
Well, I thought personally that it was Sing Street's year. I thought Sing Street was going to kind of bring it all the way home. We saw Sing Street at the New York Theater Workshop. It was excellent. Ironically, it is half a jukebox musical, but the book is excellent. The staging is excellent. I know. Those who live in glass houses should not throw houses. But no, I think the book was excellent. The performances were excellent. The staging was excellent. I think the way they integrated the music was excellent. I thought it was Sing Street's year. The only thing that I could imagine it making a run for its money was Sunset. What is it?
Flying Over Sunset.
Flying Over Sunset, which I was intrigued by. But my money would have been on Sing Street had the year gone to full fruition. What about you?
Hold on, I want to draw attention to Ro Kurtz has said jukebox musicals are to musical theater as line dancing is to choreography.
Oh wow!
I'll leave that there.
Okay, good.
Matt agrees. Jagged Little Pill, he thinks is the only one. He is the only one.
Yeah.
Sorry, my opinion is that A Strange Loop Pulitzer Prize winning musical, A Strange Loop should have transferred this season, and it would have swept everything. We'd be talking about a totally different Tony Awards.
I agree.
Larry Owens in the lead role would have been winning best leading actor. He'd be beating Aaron Tveit in his character.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just think that it's one of the great new musicals of our time, and that's what we'll be talking about one day.
I don't know if Sing Street would have made it this season. I think I think A Strange Loop may not have made it this season. But I do agree with you that we are approaching A Strange Loop's year, and it is going to be glorious to witness
Yes.
because it deserves to sweep every category that it will be nominated for from top to bottom. It's probably one of the best musicals of this century, I would say, so far. So I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. Now, we're going to pivot here, okay, to the only category I feel actually feels like a regular category this year, which is Best Play, okay? Now, what's interesting is that all of these contenders are being honored with their first, with their Broadway debut. So, just to read down the list here, we have Grand Horizons by Bess Wool, The Inheritance by Matthew Lopez, Seawall, A Life by Simon Stevens and Nick Payne, Slave Play by Jeremy O'Harris, and The Sound Inside by Adam Rapp. What a great category. The only real one, I think, in this entire season. What do you think, Nicole?
I've got a few thoughts here. I really enjoyed Grand Horizons, as did Rosemary. I thought Grand Horizons was a great return to a classic Broadway comedy. Like, when was the last time we saw a great comedy on Broadway? But a comedy never wins this category. I think, again, The Inheritance got a critical drubbing, so I don't think that's it. Seawall, A Life, possibility. Rosemary also saw that. Rosemary's seen all the hits. But again, I think it's Slave Play's year. I want to see Jeremy O'Harris win this category. I think that voters will enjoy his almost ambassador ship for the American theater. I think it's going to be Slave Play.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. I think it's Slave Play's year as well. I think had this been a full year, I still think it would have been Slave Play's year. I think The Inheritance was going to give it a run for its money. I want to pray to the theater gods that the Tonys will not do this to us, but I do think Slave Play is by far the stronger play. Jeremy O'Harris is our Tennessee Williams. You know, he is just forging himself into a place in theater that is going to be just absolutely reckoned with. And I think, you know, we have so many more plays to come from him. And this first salvo is so powerful. And to me, it is truly the best play of the year. It is the only one here where I truly can imagine in my mind saying, yes, even though I don't agree with a competition idea, it is the best play of the five that was mentioned. So I agree with you. It is Slave Play's year.
Slave Play's year.
Deservingly so.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to win, and if it does, it will be a new world after these Tony Awards, I feel.
I agree with you too.
The main thing about these Tony nominations that I enjoyed was a chance to think about theater again, to be honest.
Yeah.
A chance to think about, like, what will next year's Tony nominations look like, because we did miss out on a lot of shows. Comment below which of these you're interested in seeing when theater returns. And if you're listening tomorrow morning, do comment below and we'll discuss next week. So the shows that missed the cutoff some of them were West Side Story, Girl from the North Country, Six, Company with Patti LuPone. You had tickets, didn't you, Dan? Diana, which is coming to Netflix later this year. Mrs. Doubtfire, I'm hoping that one never makes it. Tootsie was the worst thing I've ever seen.
Please.
I don't need another Tootsie. Caroline or Change, which I'll kill somebody if it doesn't make it. Flying Over Sunset should have been something unusual. How I Learned to Drive, and Take Me Out, which I think, Matt, were you looking forward to that one?
Yes, he told everyone with ears that he was looking forward to that one.
Of these or of other shows that are coming, The Music Man, what are you looking forward to when theater inevitably will return to us?
I got to tell you, Nicole, it is depressing that theater is gone right now. It is a little weird that the Tony Award nominations are like this year, but I got to tell you, 2021, if, all things considered, we get back to some normalcy, the approaching wave of a season that is going to be upon us. I mean, we are going to be looking at one of the seminal seasons of theater history in America. And I think a true renaissance is on the horizon. And I am so looking forward to be going back to the theater and seeing just what people have had stored and pent up in them for this time and what they feel they need to unleash back into the theater. I hope everyone else is excited too. And just if you ever are feeling down about theater in any kind of way, just keep holding on. That one of the best seasons of our lifetime is on the horizon, and we're just gotta get there. And when we get there, it's going to be absolutely fucking incredible. So I'm looking forward to all of it. That is my answer, Nicole.
Me too.
Yeah. So comment below what you guys think. We'll talk more about it later. But before we get there, we have a book report.
A book report on Peter Rabbit. Peter Rabbit. Report on Peter Rabbit. A book report on Peter Rabbit. Peter Rabbit is a stupid book about the stupid rabbit who steals vegetables from other people's gardens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 83 to go. So,
Nicole, what did we read this week?
Well, if you got eyes, Dan, we read Sotto Voce by Nilo Cruz. It's a little play about an older woman named Bernadette and her relationship with a young researcher who is digging into her past almost against her will, because her past happens to include the St. Louis, which was a ship full of Jewish migrants that arrived first in the United States and then in Cuba, trying to escape World War II, and both countries turned them away.
Yes.
What did you think, Dan?
I did not care for The Godfather. I did not like it all that much. I thought the idea was solid. I thought the premise was interesting, but I just felt the execution was lagging. I felt some of the dialogue to be amateurish. Not my favorite play by any means, but I wanted to like it. You know, the concept was so intriguing to me, and I felt like it had great potential, but I just felt it missed the mark completely.
I agree to some extent, though I did not dislike it as vehemently as you seem to. I thought it had similar problems to his Pulitzer Prize winning Anna in the Tropics.
Yeah.
But I thought that play benefited from the allusions to Anna Karenina, whereas this one was a little at sea, if you will. But the thing about Nilo Cruz is he writes these characters that I do feel have a deep inner life, and I'm interested in the plots and the historical threads he seems to tease out. Yeah. But I'm not certain that his dialogue always delivers on the promise of the premise.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I would recommend reading it for those. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe you would disagree with us. I mean, I do believe that reading any play is beneficial to anyone interested in theater, because it helps you see what you may not like or disagree with. So I found it a learning experience for that, but it just wasn't my favorite. Yeah,
send us your mean emails.
Yeah, send us your hate mail.
Sorry,
Nicole's address is no.
The thing about Nilo Cruz is, though, I will continue to read his plays, looking for the one I'm gonna love, because I'm so interested in the topics he chooses.
Yeah, I would agree. So, what are we reading next week, Nicole?
We are reading The Great Wave by Frances Turnley.
That sounds exciting.
You too can read it along and then join us in next week's discussion.
or read Sotto Voce and tell us how absolutely wrong we are. But I will say this, Nicole, the one thing that we're not wrong on, and I know I am now going against myself for like the 100th time in this episode. This, ladies and gentlemen, truly
Hold on, Dan.
Greatest. Yes.
Someone guessed before.
Someone guessed it?
Someone guessed it. Matt Rosenberg, he guessed it.
Well, Matt Rosenberg for the win. This is the greatest Tony Awards performance of all time.
Why or whether we'll spend each moment, yes we will, as it moves us and it moves us. Come my comrade, nip the nectar of the day. Sweet cherry, Campari, Scotch whiskey, a fruit, a cognac, and absinthe buffet. For one more moment in a world gone cold and crass, we'll take a glass together. We'll take a glass together, and we will live to
I say ye Michael Jeter. The
Ye.
great late Michael Jeter in his prime. What a loss that is. Truly, one of my idols, by the way. I idolize him so much. His ability to move, it's just incredible.
Grand Hotel deserves a revival, Pat says. I agree. Did you see the Encore's revival? It was excellent. It absolutely should have transferred to Broadway immediately.
I'm so mad I missed it. I don't know why I missed it. I probably was doing something with EastLine, but I wish I saw that. I heard it was excellent. Gosh.
This song will always make me cry, make me happy cry.
Yes, because it should. Because when all this is over, ladies and gentlemen, we will raise a glass together. Mine will be with seltzer. You guys can pick whatever you want.
Matt is also looking forward to the Carolina Change revival and Take Me Out, as we predicted.
Yes, of course. And
John saw Girl from the North Country. You were like one of 10 people who saw Girl from the North Country. Being a big Dylan fan, I loved it. Now I know that I just said that I would rather see a review than a jukebox musical, but I have heard that it's said that Girl from the North Country is not a musical, but a play with music. Fair. And I have seen Dylan about 15 times and have seen tributes, so I don't necessarily need to see a review.
Oh, John,
so I think that show will be back. I think that show will be back.
Absolutely. I mean, I love Bob Dylan more than I could possibly explain to you. He is America's poet, as far as I'm concerned. He is America's voice, America's soul. We got some final EastLine news to wind us down, don't we, Nicole?
We do.
Yeah. So starting us off, just a reminder, everyone, our Environmental Elegies poem series continues tomorrow with a beautiful poem read by the wonderful Jocelyn Weston, which we're super excited about. We hope you guys will take a gander. That video goes out tomorrow. Also, just a reminder, everybody, we are raising money for Surfrider Foundation, which is focused on getting plastics out of our water. I mean, we have abused our oceans more than you can possibly imagine. So please consider giving $1. Anything helps getting those awful substances out of our beautiful, beautiful oceans and saving some of our sea friends. So we hope you guys will check that out tomorrow.
Also on Sunday night, we have our regular meeting of the EastLine Book Club at 7 p.m. Every Sunday at 7 p.m. we read a different play. This Sunday at 7, we are reading Let the Right One In, adapted by Jack Thorne. We did discuss this on the show actually earlier this year, but spoiler alert, it's about vampires, so I thought it would be a good read for the spooky season.
Yes.
If you want the details for that, they're at facebook.com/EastLine Book Club. I'm dropping it in the comments right now, so you can click right there and become a member of the group and come meet us every Sunday at 7.
Yeah, speaking of spooky, out of that book club group, we run Movie Club, which is a bi-weekly meeting that watches film stage productions. The next one's on the 29th of October, where we will be attending the tale of Sweeney Todd. We're watching the staged recording of Sweeney Todd with the now, 95 Angela Lansbury and the
Queen.
Infinitely amazing George Hearns. We hope you guys will join us for that. Speaking of joining us, when's our next episode, Nicole?
We are back here Friday night at midnight. That's a week from today. Sorry, a week less 1 hour, because we start at 11:59 p.m. If you recall, Friday at midnight. We'll be back with more EastLine Insomnia.
But before we go, did you know, Nicole? Did you know that cats are sometimes allergic to people? So, does that mean you're part cat, Nicole?
Anyway. I am Nicole Saban.
And I'm Daniel Higgins. This has been EastLine Insomnia, everybody. And we will catch you next Friday. Wear your mask, please.